Thanks for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. It should be an eventful meeting at City Hall tomorrow night with a number of significant items up for debate. Council will discuss the financing strategy for the proposed indoor turf facility, and they'll also decide whether or not to accept the Integrity Commissioner's recommendation to suspend Councillor Rajni Agarwal's pay for 30 days. It comes after a confrontation in June between Agarwal and homeowners carrying out work on their property, where the councillor raised her middle finger. Agarwal says she was angry because the sidewalk was blocked, forcing a disabled woman to walk on the street. The report found Agarwal displayed abrasive and harassing behavior. As for financing the proposed turf facility next to the community auditorium, the city's now estimating a price tag over $44 million. Just how that would be funded will be discussed tomorrow night. Unionized workers at Nawsum University have stated they are not going on strike after confirming they have reached a tentative agreement with the university's administration. This comes after months of negotiations with proposals crucial for education quality, equity, and job security. The new proposal will be subject to ratification and board approval, and accordingly, Nawsum University will operate as normal tomorrow. A local teen's CPR training helped save her father's life after he went into cardiac arrest in their home. Now, almost 3 months later, Madeline Kaza was honored and presented with the ACT Rescue Award in recognition for her quick-thinking heroics. Jessica Clement has the details.
15-year-old Madeline Kaza didn't think she'd have to use her CPR training so early in life, but she quickly jumped into action after her father, Michelle Kaza, suffered a sudden cardiac arrest in their home early one August morning.
I had woken up at it was 6 a.m. to my brother yelling, "Madeline, wake up, Dad's not breathing." So I walked in and the light was already turned on, 911 was called, and the 911 operator was like, "You guys need to start CPR."
Madeline and her 13-year-old brother Luke then placed their father on the floor, and their mother Claire started performing CPR. Madeline says thanks to her training, she realized it wasn't being done properly and took over until firefighters arrived.
I just was like, I need to do this because she's not doing it right. And then I don't remember thinking it just kind of just came to me. It just felt like a natural instinct, and I didn't even think twice.
Michelle was taken to the regional hospital where he was able to recover and says he found out a couple days later that it was his daughter who saved him.
And I'm very, very grateful that she was able to do that, and I can't imagine, giving CPR to someone that you love, and just what would have been going on in her mind as she was doing that, and yeah, it's really unbelievable.
Madeline learned CPR training in grade 9 through the Advanced Coronary Treatment High School CPR and AED program, which is set up in 6 schools in Thunder Bay and the surrounding communities. Earlier this week, the Foundation and Hydro One presented Madeline with the ACT Rescuer Award in recognition for her quick thinking and use of life-saving CPR.
I think it's good that it's being recognized that CPR is an important skill that we should all know.
I think it's an amazing program the ACT Foundation offers, and a cousin of mine actually from Southern Ontario, I'd posted on Facebook, and she read the story, and she was saying she's contacted her board where her children go to school, and just to see if they offer the program, and if they don't, that they should, because it saves lives. It really does.
Jessica Clement, TVT News.
Celebrating 50 years of bringing life to history as a provincial attraction, Fort William Historical Park, in partnership with the Thunder Bay Museum, is presenting Fur Trade Fort William, a chronology through art, 1805 to 1882. The exhibit was curated by Fort William Historical Park's team leader, Sean Patterson, and is meant to encompass 45 works of art by 18 different period artists. The exhibit captures the story of Fort William throughout the 1800s, with Fort General Manager Patrick Morash saying it will not only be informative, but also have a little something for everyone to enjoy.
As you go through, you'll see how the fort evolves architecturally, how it changes, how the Ojibwe community across the way grows larger, architecturally more significant. And then the last couple of paintings, the very last painting is an oil painting that was actually done by a fort staff member in 1883, and that is a lovely aerial of the reconstructed Fort William as it stands today.
I'm not originally from northwestern Ontario, so seeing a lot of this artwork depicting the natural environment and also the the patterns of settlement, the ways in which Indigenous peoples lived at the time when the fort was there, it's all really fascinating to see and to learn more about.
And you can check out the exhibit until the end of March 2024 at the Thunder Bay Museum from 1 to 5 p.m. on Tuesday through Sunday. The town of Marathon is pinning its hope on getting funding for a new active living center after having to permanently close the municipal pool. Council made the call back in August to close their pool for good after an engineering report showed problems with the ceiling joists. The town's arena is also in rough shape, according to Mayor Rick Dumas. He's hoping to secure provincial or federal funding to replace the aging infrastructure. A new facility has been in the works for years and would include a theater as well as a new pool and arena. The project would cost an estimated $56 million.
We're really in need, and the fact that we had to shut our pool down was not a good thing for the community. It's a long, cold winter in Marathon without a swimming pool. I personally use it a lot, and my grandkids, and it's one of those facilities that we need it in the north, and we have it, and we want to continue to have it in the future. So obviously it'll take a couple years to get the new facility built, but we need to get that first phase of funding done so we can go to tender, and hopefully that'll happen all in the new year.
There's also a number of wish list items the township would like to see included in the Active Living Center, including a dog park and bowling alley, which would increase the cost to an estimated $65 million. Dumas admits the project is not likely to be funded right away. Progress is well underway on a new water treatment plant and waterworks at a First Nation near Marathon. The long-awaited project in Bigtigong-Nishnabeg is expected to be up and running by the end of next year. The new system will draw directly from Lake Superior instead of relying on well water. Daniel Machano, Bigtigong's capital housing director, explains that nearly 6 kilometers of pipe will run between the treatment plant and the lake to keep the water intake away from the silt at the mouth of the Pick River. It's an ambitious project he wasn't sure would ever be approved.
We first received notice that the community was receiving a new water plant in a tune of the $58 million mark. We were, again, ecstatic. We still couldn't believe it, right? Reading the emails and, of course, receiving the phone calls from the people further on up the line. It was almost surreal, right? Knowing that we did it.
We were at a stage with the water project where we were starting to get more of boil water advisories because we would get capacity. We'd be at capacity. So we needed to look at expanding even for our current infrastructure that we have. This water project that we have will provide safe, reliable drinking water for generations to come.
Machano says the new treatment plant will be able to handle 4 to 5 times the volume of the current plant with improved flow rates. He says it's a necessity for the growing community, and the new system has an expected lifespan of 50 years. A new mural created by students was unveiled at the Thunder Bay Catholic School Board office recently. 5 students within the board worked on different portions of the art piece and were recognized with a small ceremony where the artists signed their work. Joe Sadowski reports.
The mural is a part of the Catholic Board's Deep Learning Initiative and was created by 5 students ranging from kindergarten all the way to grade 12. The art piece has 5 different portraits, and together they make a school bus. The project was organized by St. Patrick's visual arts teacher Steve Diana, who said he got the inspiration for the art piece from his son Nigel.
And I was just really impressed with how much he improved from JK to SK, and the cartoon light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, will you drive me a bus? And at first he said no. And then I had to bribe him with some candy. And then he drew the bus, and I was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to show the progression that we make when we're in school.
Nigel was one of the 5 students who worked on the piece. Another artist was grade 12 St. Pat's student Emma Jones, who says it was a very enjoyable and inspiring piece to put together.
It was really fun. I was in grade 11 when I did it, and I used like a mix of alcohol markers and pencil crayons. And it was just a really fun project to do. I, had to look up a picture for a reference and took the time to make it as realistic as I could. I've always loved creating art, and from watching my older siblings make art, it's just always been a passion of mine, and I've always loved making something as realistic as I could, so it was a fun project for sure.
John Power with the Catholic Board says the mural is a representation of the students' love of learning, and he says the final product exceeded expectations.
Yeah, it really, really blew us away. You know, when you look at some of these images, it's hard to believe that they're drawn by pencil crayon or crayon in some cases. They look like something that's entirely digitally created on a computer, but they're not. They're all student-driven, student-created pieces of art that showcase really what our board is all about.
This is just one of the deep learning initiatives from the Catholic School Board, and Power says there are more collaborative projects in the works for various schools around the city. Joe Sadowski, TBT News.
And speaking of Joe Sadowski,
Here.
on the desk for sports, we jump to the Thunder Wolves. They were looking to win in fashion because I hear they had some new jerseys.
Oh, some new threads that honored an iconic hockey team here in the Thunder Bay region. We'll have that story and more coming up after the break.